Today we're going to be working through the whole entire body using both release work and stretch work to help reset your whole entire body. Now, you don't need too much equipment today, and there's some simple adaptations you can take if you haven't got exactly what I have. And the first thing you need is a massage ball. Now, you can use a golf ball or a lacrosse ball. They are quite hard, but they do still have the same effect. Or you could use your spiky ball from class or a tennis ball. Okay, the other bits of kit. Hello and welcome to your Katie Bell Physiotherapy and Wellness Stretch and Relax session. Today we're going to be working through the whole entire body using both mobility and release work to reset how you're feeling and how you're moving today. There's just some simple equipment that you need for this class. I've got a couple of bolster cushions. If you don't have bolster cushions, you could use a rolled up bath towel or maybe just a normal cushion folded over. You can even tie that up with a dressing gown cord. And I've also got a blanket for some relaxation later if you'd like to use that. I've also brought with me today a massage ball. Now you can use a spiky ball or a tennis ball, or if you've got a lacrosse or hockey ball, those are also fantastic. Smaller balls like squash or golf ball can be effective, but sometimes it just feels slightly different and you have to angle yourself slightly differently to get into those places. Now, as this is a home workout, I'd encourage you to move as is right for your body, avoiding anything that you know that you shouldn't be doing, or if anything just doesn't feel quite right. If you're not comfortable with a movement, maybe just skip that one, either go back to the previous exercise, or as this is stretch and relax, feel free to find yourself into the most comfortable rest position and focus on your breathing. Now, speaking of which, let's get started with that. So coming into a comfortable position, maybe sitting on one of your cushions, maybe propped up onto a yoga block or a Pilates block. I want you to be at rest, but in good alignment. So you shouldn't be having to kind of cling on to stay in this position. So before we start, let that breath relax and ground yourself down into the mat. You might need to have a little wiggle to position your pelvis and your feet and your legs so that you can really feel that connection down into the floor. Imagine your body without effort, without trying, just gently, lightly lifting off your pelvis. Imagine each joint of the spine just expanding slightly, almost like you've got lots of little bubbles between each of the spinal blocks instead of those little strips of cartilage. Imagine those bubbles are just being very slightly inflated, and as you do that you feel a lightness and a length to your spine. And then just relax your hands to where it feels comfortable to start with, either in your lap, by your side or on your knees. Before we go any further, we're just going to centre ourselves on our breath. And centering is purely a term for focus, giving our attention, bringing ourselves to a place of focus on that one thing. The breath is a great thing to use as a centering tool, because not only is it very repetitive, but it is central to our whole entire function. It's one of the key aspects of our life force within us. And I want you just to start by allowing yourself to become observant of your breath today. Just notice it coming in and out of your body. And we're going to take a few breaths slightly deeper and just see how our body receives that. So maybe stretch out your in-breath for a little bit longer and stretch out your out-breath for a little bit longer. Just see how your body meets that change. We're going to exaggerate things very slightly now. So I want you to think about that in-breath being soft and light, slowly floating up, extending that in-breath. Now pause, just for a second or two longer than you feel is natural or maybe sort of normal for you. And then a heavy exhale. So we softly float through that in-breath, extending it slightly. Pause for just a second longer than feels quite normal or natural. And then heavy exhale, sigh. And I want you to allow yourself to make that noise. In that noise and in that out-breath, releasing any additional tension that you might be carrying mentally or physically. Let's do 2 more of those. Gentle, soft, floating in-breath. Pausing, and then heavy sigh. One more time at your own pace. So now we've released some of that sort of superficial, initial tension that might be sitting in our bodies. We're going to focus one last time into our natural breath. So for 3 or 4 breath cycles, just let your breath return to where it feels comfortable. Don't force it, just allow your body to breathe. We're going to come back and revisit that soft floating in-breath, that pause and heavy sigh throughout today's class. But before we do that, let's move into our first area of the body, which is going to be the neck. Now this is where you need some cushions. I'm going to take 2 of my cushions, so I've got 2 bolster cushions here, and I'm going to place one at the top of my mat for my head, for my back of my head to rest onto, and the other one's going to go under my knees. I am going to bring my ball with me. So, coming and laying onto your side, and then rolling onto your back, and just position your cushions wherever feels comfortable for you. I want the rest of your body to completely release. We're almost seeing if everything can switch off, if everything can release, and we can just focus into that area. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, you might prefer your knees bent up, or you could pop the cushion behind the very back of your thighs and let your legs go into frog or into cross leg. Whichever feels most natural and most releasing for you. So see how you feel, see where you would prefer the cushion, back of the thighs, underneath the knees, cross leg or frog leg. So taking the ball into your left hand, I'm going to turn my head away from you. So I'm going to look over to the right hand side. And then using my left hand, I'm going to massage the ball gently into the base of the head and neck where they meet. So around the base of the head. And you say that, I'm going to come up into sitting and turn so you can see in a little bit more detail. So taking your ball here, you're laid on your back, you're turning your head away from this left hand and then massaging into the left hand side of the neck. So I'm right up onto the base of the skull. It's almost the junction. Imagine the neck is coming up, the head is sitting on top of the neck, and we've got this strip of muscles that run around the base of the skull here, and that's what we're massaging into. But in this nice laid down position, your head can completely relax and switch off. So I'm just going to massage along that line, going towards the spine and then back out towards the ear. So you're massaging all the way through and then back towards the base of the ear. Do 2 or 3 more little trips along that line, just looking for that area of tightness or tension. You can also do this on a foam roller, but instead you turn your head towards the side you want to massage and then circle your chin to create that release. Okay, so staying with your back where you are, finishing that 3rd one here, I'm now just going to gently press onto any area that felt tight. So if you're thinking this whole line from the spine all the way to your ear, think along that line where you found the areas of particular tension. And I'm going to hold that ball there into the back of my neck, just pressing gently. I'm not forcing it into the spine or forcing it into anywhere that doesn't feel okay. I can feel that muscular release. I'm trying to keep my chin gently down and lengthening through the back of my neck. I'm going to stay there for 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, keeping the ball over here on this left side, I'm now going to pop the ball underneath my upper back and shoulder. So I've got the ball between my shoulder blade and my spine. So if my spine's running up and down, my shoulder blade is here, the ball is in this muscular gap between. And then from here, I'm just going to have a little wriggle around until I can find an area of particular tightness or tension. When I've got that, I'm going to just relax, either relaxing your hands down or hugging your arms across your body and stay here. You want to stay there for about 20, maybe 30 seconds to start with.
Taking nice steady breath. So let's revisit that soft breath. So floating up on that in-breath, then pause, then nice heavy sighing exhale. Okay, either with your legs where they are or bending them if they feel more comfortable. Just start to move your arm, your shoulder and your upper back around, wiggling on that spot there, seeing if you can work a little bit more deeply. If this feels too uncomfortable for you, feel free to go back to the release we were just doing. Or you can come into standing and do this against the wall. So I'm just having a little wriggle around, nestling into those areas that feel a little bit tight. And then if I find that I've got an area that feels particularly tender, and I can either just stay on that spot or I can hold it completely still. Make sure as you do this, you're keeping your chin down so your neck is nice and long. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and let's pop that ball out. Taking the ball into your right hand now, we're going to bring the ball onto the front of the chest and we're going to massage just underneath the collarbone. So again, staying where you are because the laying down position means that these muscles can relax and open. And you're going to keep the ball into your right hand and massage over the front of the left hand side of the chest. Of course, avoiding any pacemakers or any scar tissue. Again, if that isn't appropriate for you, go back to one of the previous 2 releases we've been doing. Now I stay nice and high here, away from my lymph tissue. I'm staying up in this muscular area that runs underneath the collarbone and into the top of the shoulder and the armpit. So if you were literally to place your hand underneath your arm and close your hand down, directly above that little line. So if you slide your hand up, that's where you're massaging into. This is a great way to literally open up your chest. These muscles, when they get tight round our shoulders, compress our ribs and compress our diaphragm and makes it harder for us just even to breathe. So this is a great way to change how you're feeling, no matter what your posture looks like afterwards. Okay, again, let's hold that pressure point there now. Find the area that feels tight and tender. And now, with this left hand, relax it on the floor beside you and just reach the hand away into a low V. So the palm is facing up, the back of the palm is resting on the floor. If you feel happy to, you might like to start moving the ball again, or keep the ball still and just turn the head to the left and the right, turning away and then turning towards. This should create a bit of mobility and glide in your connective tissue. Last head turn, and when you're ready, come back to the centre. Fantastic. Just pop your ball either on your tummy or by your side for a moment, and just turn your head left and right. Then give your shoulders a roll, and sweep both hands over your head to the top of the mat, and then back down to your hips. That's it. What do you notice? Last thing, placing your hands onto the side of your ribs. Take a nice big deep breath in, hold it there, and heavy sigh out. Do that again and just see, do you notice any difference, left versus right, or even all the way down into your rib cage? Great. Some of you may have noticed increased range, increased softness, freedom, almost a feeling of lightness, and more space on that side of the body. So that felt really good. Let's repeat it on the other side. So staying exactly where you are, I'm just going to turn so you can see me. I'm going to take the ball over into my right hand now. I'm going to turn my head to the left and I'm going to get my massage all up the back of the neck, all into the base of the skull. So I'm massaging along this line from the spine towards the ear, along the base of the skull. Massaging in, creating that softness, taking the tension out of the head and the neck. As you go along here, just make a note of where feels tight to you. If there's anywhere that you feel that you're not happy to massage, just avoid that area. And again, either jump ahead to the the releases we've done already, but on the second side, or do your breathing exercises. Okay, hold that pressure there, wherever it might be that feels tight or tender. And stay there, just gently looking the other way. This might be a good opportunity for you to do your breath work. So slow breath in, pause, and then big heavy exhale. Great. 3, 2, 1, and then release. Let's lay on our backs now, popping the ball underneath that right shoulder. So, taking the ball, roll off that shoulder, pop it in, and you want it between the shoulder blade and the spine. So we're in this soft gap, not on the shoulder blade, not on the spine itself. Have a little wriggle around till you find the area that feels a little bit tight or tender. And then when you've got that there, just stay there. We're going to see if we can hold this point for about 20 seconds. Again, revisiting that breathing. Slow breath in, floating up with that in-breath. Pause, and then heavy exhale. Lovely. Okay, now you might like to start having a little wriggle around, either with your arms down onto the floor or your hands across your chest, whichever makes you feel like you can work into that release the best. Okay, and massaging up and down, just nudging into the tension around the shoulder. When you find that point that's tight, either stay on there doing little wiggles or stay still and see if you can almost open up that area by pausing over the point of tightness or tension. Lengthen the neck, relax the jaw. 3, 2, 1, and let's fetch the ball out. Holding the ball in our left hand, let's go and massage along the front of the right chest now. So again, we're staying high near the collarbone, not going down into the chest wall, but only tracking along the collarbone and then towards the armpit. Massaging through to take away any of that additional tension, seeing if we can soften that area. Again, once you find an area that maybe feels a little bit sticky or a little bit tight, just pause and hold that there, taking the hand down onto the floor beside you and turning the palm up. You can add that head turn left and right, just to create a little bit more mobility in that tissue. Lovely. Last one. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1, and release. Wonderful. Okay. Pop your ball aside and just bend your knees up for a moment. Allow yourself to reset your lower back, making sure that you've not been dragging forward through the ribs. So your upper back and mid back feels relaxed. You've got a soft curve in your lower back and your pelvis is staying still. So from here, resetting your posture here, we're going to do some movements with our arms to help open up the upper body. But I want you to center your focus on maintaining the spine in this neutral. So equal pressure through the left and right bottom cheek, equal pressure here between the left and right shoulder blade, and connection through the upper to mid chest spine. Okay, from here, let's float our hands up towards the ceiling and just start with a double arm reach. Both hands overhead, breath in, breathe out, bring them back down. So imagine you're painting stripes on the ceiling, a big smooth sweeping action with the arms. And as you do this, maintain the softness through the neck, through the spine, keeping the lower back and mid back in that same soft position, not letting the ribs reach away up into the air. Okay, from here, we're going to take our hands up over our heads, draw a big circle with our hands all the way down to our lap, and then draw the stripes on the ceiling. So we draw a circle, and then we chop it in half. Draw a circle, and chop it in half. These are our version of our windmills, which is this lovely circular action which helps to open up the front of the chest and mobilise those shoulder blades. And if you do tend to have shoulder blades that maybe don't glide so well, you may feel the floor giving you some feedback of how well those shoulder blades are doing. Some of you might notice that the shoulder blades really poke into the floor. Okay, taking your arms all the way out into a crucifix position now. We're going to close and open the arms. Just start with this movement and then we're going to bring the breath into this. Okay, on your next one, let's open the hands on the in-breath. Pause here. Keep that breath paused, keep the arms paused, don't let the ribs start to flare. And then exhale, close the arms. And again, breath in, Stretch long through those fingertips. Pause. And exhale. And again, out you go. Reach away through those fingertips. Last one. Well done. Okay, let's take our hands over our heads like we're diving into a swimming pool. And I want you to reach those fingertips away, keeping the ribs and the spine in that neutral, and then just gently point the toes like you're reaching the legs away as well. So we're going to this long pencil stretch. 3 breath cycles here, keeping the ribs in that neutral. Last one, keep the shoulders away from the ears and long through those fingertips. Now, fold at the elbows, taking the arms nice and wide to your stop sign or cactus position. We're going to do close the book and open the book. Close the book, open the book. As you do this, try and keep your arms moving at the same speed so you don't drop down through one elbow first. We're going to do 2 more here. And last one. Wonderful. Okay, let's roll over onto our sides. This bolster that we've had in between, underneath our legs, is now going to go in between our knees. We're going to do one little exercise here before we roll over onto our fronts to really start deeply mobilising the shoulders. Let's take our hands to our hearts and we're just going to rotate behind us, taking a breath in, keeping the knees together. And then breathe out and roll back through again. Rotate through the upper mid-back, hold. And then roll back through again. If you want to, on your next one, you feel comfortable to, we can roll behind and then reach those fingertips long for our full arm openers. There we go. Let's close those hands down. Let's take it one more time as you are, or you might like to add on the way back your arm circle overhead. So as you breathe out, let's sweep that hand all the way through and bring the hand back in line. Okay, let's come back up, popping our cushions out the way for a moment. Popping our ball out the way. I'm going to come through into hands and knees. In this position, I'm taking my hands out wide on the mat. I'm going to start by just rounding my upper back and then relaxing and slumping my shoulders together. So there's 3 points on this. I've got my slump, I've got my neutral, where I'm in that lovely long position in the spine, my shoulder blades are suspending my spine, and then I'm rounding through. But you'll notice how my lower back and my neck doesn't change position. It's just my shoulder blades and my upper back. So 3 positions. I round, I find the middle, I slump, I find the middle. I round, find the middle, slump, find the middle. So this is a shoulder blade mobility exercise, but it's also really good for starting to switch on some of those deep shoulder stabilizers, ready for when we do slightly deeper mobility work. So we don't just jump straight into that work and pull too deeply. And the last one, all the way up and all the way down. And then when you're ready, reset those shoulders. So you've got that slight pinch shoulder position, your ribs are connecting in, your spine is nice and long. Let's go for our puppy stretch. So slide your fingertips away, keeping your hips up nice and high. Feel yourself stretch like you're diving into a swimming pool. If it's too intense in the shoulders, take the elbows wide and allow yourself to rest forwards into the chest rather than into the shoulders. I'm going to stay here with an outstretched arm position. I'm going to take a nice big deep breath in. As I breathe out, I engage my core and I tuck my tailbone under and reach myself forwards into an outstretched cat position. I'm going to release my spine and press myself back and down on my next out breath into a puppy stretch. So let's breathe out, tuck the tailbone under, engage the core, rock forwards into this stretched out cat position. And then I'm going to release the spine and fold back into my puppy stretch. You can, of course, do this on your elbows, so you put less pressure into the shoulders and you do more mobility for the chest. Last one here. And then when you're ready, fold back to a shell stretch or come up into kneeling. We're going to take it slightly more intensely now and we're going to reach out just using one arm. We'll slide out first of all to our puppy stretch, and taking your right hand now, let's reach it behind and reach to our ankle. Take a nice breath in, breathe out and swap. So left hand back to left ankle. Hold the breath in and switch. If you want to do this from your elbows, you can do exactly the same. So we're getting a little bit of our chest mobility and then switching and in. If not, stay here. Reach and switch. Reach and switch. One more time each side. Reach, take a breath in and switch. Last one, reach and switch. When you're ready, let's fold back to our shell stretch and give our arms a wrap around our back. If you don't want to be in this kneeling position, come up into kneeling here and just wrap your arms around your back. So open up those collarbones, so we're not forcing forwards, jutting forward through those shoulders. Open up and lengthen through the spine. 2 more breath cycles here. Fantastic. Okay, let's release those hands and give those shoulders a nice roll. We're going to do one more stretch to open up the front of the shoulder. If you don't like this position, it's quite an advanced chest stretch. You might like to come against the wall, stretching your arm out against the wall and rotating your body away to open up your chest instead. That way you can just grade down a little bit the pressure that we're using into the spine. So when you're ready, let's come forward. We're going to come onto our tummies. From here, I'm going to roll towards you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend my right hand out. And you'll notice that I'm going away on the diagonal and my elbow is staying very slightly soft. Before I go anywhere, I'm just going to inch my arm out so I'm not too crowded in my shoulder. And I'm going to take my left hand and plant it next to my left shoulder. I'm bending up my left knee and I'm rolling onto my side for my scorpion. Now you'll see that my toes are coming here and touching the floor. You don't have to do this, you could leave your legs stacked or low flex down, whatever feels okay. We're looking for a stretch here in the shoulder. Make sure you crept this hand out away from you. We're going to stay for 10 more seconds unless you are unhappy in this position and you don't feel it's working for your body. On your next out breath, engage the core and let's roll back through. So remember, you've got the option to come and stand against the wall, popping your hand out and turning your body. I'll briefly show you that. If not, let's set up on the other side. So if you're doing standing position, hand goes up against the wall and we turn and rotate. You can move your hand slightly up the wall or flex the elbow to get the stretch you need. So, doing our second side, taking our left hand away on the diagonal, right hand tucks in by our side, and here we go, that right leg. Let's roll over onto our side, opening up with the knee and the hip. Gently reaching those fingertips away, taking a nice breath in and out. 2 more breath cycles here. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to roll all the way back through again. Okay, we're going to come back with our pillows again, so grab those. I'm going to just switch to the end of the mat so I can see you all, but you could just roll over to the other side if you prefer. Okay, so I'm popping my cushion in between my knees. I'm going to pop my hands out in front of me. And I'm going to take my hands to my heart, rotating the body, taking a breath in. And then breathe out and roll back through again. And again, hand to heart, rotate through, breath in. Breathe out and roll back through again. This time let's go through and reach, keeping these knees down, keeping the twist here into the chest. And close. And let's do one more this time, rotating, reaching. And let's take that big sweep over our head, coming all the way back through. Wonderful. We're just going to finish with a little bit more mobility down into the chest. So taking our focus away from the shoulder. So I want you to pop yourself up. You're going to pop this cushion here. You're going to move your bolster or your cushion slightly further down. So this is like a very kind foam roller. So if you want to grab your foam roller quickly and use that, you're very welcome to. If not, a rolled up bath towel is still going to give us a very soft but gentle opening for the spine. So I'm going to come and lay down, and I want this around my mid to lower ribs. So when I roll over onto my back, I can feel this at that lower junction of my lower back. Now some of you will feel that if you put your legs down, that your lower back arches too much. So if you want to, you can bend those knees up, or you can try the modification of the cushion behind the back of the thighs. So from here, reaching up first of all, stretching through those hands again like we did before. So we've got our exercise that we were doing previously, but we've added a bit more extension in. Take a big deep breath in. Breathe out and open those arms into a nice circle. Chop up above our head and then circle. Continue to find your movement, sweeping those hands up and over and round. Up and over. If you don't want to lay on your back, you could do this in sitting on a gym ball or a chair, or against the wall, still feeling that little bit of feedback against the wall. Okay, let's bend our knees up, taking our hands out into crease sticks, and we're going to roll our knees to the left and the right. Now this is a fairly common rotation exercise that we use in classes to help us get mobility at the spine. With ourselves reaching over this bolster, this can give us just a little bit more stretch into the spine, so see how you find it. Nice breath in to hold, and then rotate the knees on the out breath, and again, breath in to hold, and rotate the knees on the out breath. Let's do one more each way. Last one. And when you're ready, let's come and roll onto our sides. Okay, I'm going to pop my cushions out the way for a minute, and I'm going to grab my ball again, and I'm going to do some mobility and stretch around my lower back now. So hopefully already you're starting to notice how your upper body is feeling much freer. So once you've got your ball back, we're going to do a little bit of release there. So let's reset with our breath again. So when you're ready, light breath in, hold, big exhale, and again. Light breath in, hold, and then that big heavy exhale, off you go. One more time for me, light breath in, and hold, and then heavy exhale. You may notice how your breath has changed already, and then you may notice that actually you could feel a bit more freedom around your chest already, and that's what we're looking for. We want your breath just to feel easy and free, and not sticky and tight. Now, we're going to go into some release onto our back. You may like support from a pillow or a cushion, it's up to you, or you might like to lay flat on the mat. My personal preference is laying flat on the mat, but if you would like a cushion, feel free to use one. So coming to lay on your back, you can do this in standing against the wall if you prefer not to be laid down. And I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to hitch the hips up, and I'm going to place the ball right underneath my lowest rib on this right hand side. And then when I've got that there, I'm going to start nudging the ball left and right by gliding my hips side to side. I'm not going over the spine itself, but I'm nudging up and down, massaging all the way through, and I'll feel the ball just gradually mobilising down. I want to make sure I've massaged all the way down to the rim of my pelvis, and when I hit that bony ridge of my pelvis, I'm going to move the ball back up again. And again, rolling all the way through left and right, up to the spine and back down again, and then we're going to let the ball just go to where it naturally migrates to. When you feel like you've run off the end of the release area there, just pop the ball back into the point you want to work on, and then remember to go all the way through that line. Now once you've done that a couple of times, you should be able to identify where maybe it's feeling a little bit tight, or maybe you're getting a bit of reaction in places. Now if you can find that, I want you to hold that there, and then imagine you're doing little pelvic tucks. So like we would do, say, like you're going to curl up into a bridge, which you're going into in a moment, or you're sitting on a gym ball when you're doing your pelvic tilts. This is a part of that foundational sort of setup for Pilates and yoga and things like that. And if you can't tilt your pelvis because your lower back muscles are so tight, you're going to find it really difficult to get your best posture. So a couple more little tilts forwards and backwards. Now tilt the pelvis forward, so you're tucking your tailbone up and forward so your lower back feels slightly rounded or lengthened. Keep that pressure there, and now wriggle left and right. If this feels too intense, just ease off and do the version that feels right. So keep scooping that tailbone away, pressing your heels into the floor, massaging into the lower back. 3, 2, 1, let's lift up, and let's pop the ball over to the other side. So the ball's going into my left waist now, just below the ribs, and I'm gliding my hips left and right. Working into those areas that maybe feel tight, and then letting the ball just migrate. So I'm massaging left and right, and the ball is just moving down naturally down the length of my lower back. If I need to, I adjust it, and I'm making sure I'm going all the way down to the rim of the pelvis. Now I often find in clinic where people are tight in the lower back, they tend to be tight in the lower ribs on one side and then down towards the pelvis on the other side. So see and notice if that's you. Do you tend to have that little bit of a kind of a asymmetry where you're tighter in different areas of this muscle? And this is how we really can take our release work and be very, very specific about what we're doing to get the most out of it. Because if we are walking along with a slightly skew with tension into our lower back, that's going to change our pelvis position and therefore our leg position and our stepping. Okay, find that area that maybe feels tight or restricted to you, and then start with those little tilts forwards and backwards. Tilting forwards and back. Tilt forwards and back. That's it. So we're getting that nice little tuck, stretching out, feeling the glutes and the hamstrings having a chance to activate. So it's a nice resetting exercise. But we're just getting that nice tilt. Okay, keep that tilt there now and wiggle left and right again if you can. And this is really going to be working down into those tight tissues. If you found some little hot spots of areas that are just a bit sticky, feeling a bit restricted. So release work, massage work should feel intense, but it shouldn't be sharp pain. So we talk about green, amber and red. So green being, yeah, feels comfortable, feel happy with that. Amber feels very kind of intense but tolerable, but red is pain. And we don't generally move into that red zone. We try and sit in the amber zone or the green zone if we're doing a bit more relaxation. Okay, right then, from here, I'm just going to pop the ball aside for a moment. And I'm going to place my hands into a diamond and place them onto my lower tummy, relaxing my neck and shoulders. I'm going to start by tilting my pelvis forwards and backwards. So if I imagined I had a marble inside that diamond, I would imagine that I'm tilting the marble down towards my fingertips and then to my thumbs, fingertips and thumbs. And I'm getting that little tilting action through the spine. Okay, let's imagine we're balancing that marble in the middle of the diamond. Then imagine you're rolling the marble to the left and right of the diamond. So hitch one side of the pelvis up and then the other. So we're getting this little left and right hitch. Almost like you're stepping and lifting those hips up. And you might notice as you tilt side to side that you can feel your gluteal muscles or your leg muscles kicking in on that side that you're hitching up. Okay, can you take that into a circle now? Circling top, side, lower, side, top, side, lower, side. That's it. Can you change directions now? Circling. And just notice, is there any area in that circle you think, maybe on a clock face, where you feel it's just a little bit stickier? And maybe you want to roll in and out of that little part of the circle. See if that can help free that off. But if not, just stay in those circles, doing 6 in one direction and then scoot round again in the opposite direction. Okay, let's centre that pelvis so we're in the middle. Relax the hands down, soften the spine and then press the heels, and if you're happy to, scoop the hips off the floor or the wall and then scoot back down again. So we're doing a little bridge position. So if you have stayed in standing to do this, make sure your feet are stepped away from the wall, and you can still do this lovely bridge mobility. And we're not going particularly high. You'll notice I'm sort of almost just floating my hips a few inches off and then coming back down again. I'm looking here very much for lower back mobility rather than trying to really push up high and kind of work my glutes particularly hard or challenging. I'm trying to keep my knees and legs parallel, so I'm not flaring off my legs, so I'm still getting that support through the pelvis as I gain this mobility into my lower back. Okay, last one there. Well done. Okay, I'm last of all just going to grab one of my cushions and I'm going to tuck my cushion just here underneath the very base of my bottom cheeks and my sitting bones. And then I'm going to take my knees up towards my chest. And this is just going to help tilt my pelvis slightly. So if I haven't already really loosened off my lower back, this is going to help me do that. We're going to stay here, and you might find that you naturally want to rock or maybe hug those knees in and out. Just go softly and gently with what you feel is natural. And whilst you're doing this, let's do 3 or 4 of our breath cycles. So a slow, soft breath in, pause, and then sigh that breath out. And this time, as you sigh that breath out, imagine you're sighing all the way down your spine and all the way out through your lower back into the mat. So nice big breath in, pause, and then sigh heavy and let go. Imagine doing that just a few more times. Imagine each one opens up, softens and loosens the lower back. Okay, one more time. Well done. So from here we're going to start doing some work and some release slightly further down into the body, into the glutes and the hips and the legs. So popping your cushion out the way, bring your ball with you. I'm going to come and roll on my side. Again, you can do these release exercises in standing, so if you prefer to, stay at the wall. I'm going to pop the ball underneath my bottom cheek. So I'm going to come and hitch myself up and sit my bottom on top of the ball. Now I've got both of my feet and my hands to be able to push up to release the pressure, or relax down and increase the pressure. And it's the same with the wall. I can push myself into the wall, or I can lean off the wall to change my pressure. I've got the ball underneath my right bottom cheek, and I'm going to start with this circular action. Nice and small, just above the sitting bone. And I'm looking for that area of reaction. And I'm staying small, so I'm imagining I'm almost circling the size of the ball. Great. Okay, can you start to increase that circle, going slightly higher up and slightly wider with that circle, but always returning down to just above the sitting bone. Maybe even going a little bit further out. Now you might find that as you do this, you migrate and you might need to lean a little bit to get across into the side of the hip. So I feel like I've got to lean over to bring that ball out towards this corner of my hip here. But you move as feels alright for you. Again, if it feels too much, change your position. Come up into the standing position. Now, I want you to start making that circle a little bit smaller and smaller. Smaller, coming back down to just above the sitting bone, and again you're massaging into that little pocket just above the sitting bone. Okay, 2, 1. Okay, hop off for a second. Now, what you'll find is as we went through, there'll be little, if you imagine that circle, there'll be points on that circle like a clock face where you're like, those points there, or that point and that point, or that point there, felt tight. So we're going to go back into that circle. Instead of going round around the circle, I want you to pick your point. So I could feel a little bit of tightness above my sitting bone, and then I could feel a little bit more out towards my hip. So I would just scoop and scoop, scoop and scoop from those 2 points. I'd go from the 2 points that are tight, and I'd go back and forth between those, but still imagine I'm working on that track of a circular track around my hip and bottom. So I'm going to come and sit onto the ball. And then from here, I'm going to circle and back down. So I'm circling up into those points. So I've got that little sort of sweeping action here. Okay, let's do 2 more here. Okay, now find where it feels a little bit tight again. Hold that there and then just step your leg in and out. If you prefer, you might like to slide the leg in and out. If you had more than one area that felt tight, let's hitch over to that other area and again, step out and in, out and in, that's it, out and in. Great, 3, 2, 1. Okay,
now, if you're doing this at the wall, you might like to come and sit on a chair. And what I want you to do is I want you to hitch the ball forwards so it's now sitting in front of your sitting bone. So effectively it's at the top of your thigh. So I'm now, if you can see, below my bottom onto the back of my thigh. Now, you're going to see this disappear underneath me because I've got my thigh over the top of it. But if I lift my leg up, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving left and right across this very top part of what we call our hamstrings running along the back of the leg. So you can still do this in sitting, and all you're going to do is you're going to sit through here, let that leg come out, and then you're going to wiggle side to side. So it's like my leg, my body is a windscreen wiper. And you'll see the ball just pop out and disappear again. So I'm going over the top of the hamstrings. Of course, if this doesn't feel okay for you, then feel free to avoid this. But I'm staying very high and right into the very top of my hamstrings. Now, see if you can get the ball to sit on the top of the hamstrings there, and then just sit into it. Imagine you're pushing your leg down into the chair or into the mat. If this feels too intense or you're getting any neural referral down your leg, just ease off slightly, move the ball across slightly, or maybe move it slightly down so you're not into that red zone. We're keeping in that happy amber zone. Okay, stay there. 3, 2, 1, release. Okay, we're going to keep working down this leg. Now, if you don't like kneeling, so folded back kneeling, so in this sort of kneeling position, I want you to come and sit on a chair. If you were doing your release on a chair and you don't want to be down on the floor, I'm going to give you guys your version now. So sitting on the chair, instead of having the ball here, behind the back of the thigh, I want you now to bring the ball either behind the middle of the thigh, or to come down on the floor and pop the ball underneath the calf. And what I want you to do is I want you to spend a couple of minutes going side to side, underneath the calf and underneath the middle of the thigh, okay? So you do your little windscreen wipers here. Now, I'm going to show you a slightly more intense version that we're going to do. Now, I want you to pop the ball about an inch behind the back of your knee and come and sit slightly back. And then you're just going to rock yourself side to side here. And this is a dual hamstring and calf release. And you'll notice how instantly the ball has gone to one side of your shin. So for me, I can feel it sitting slightly further out on this side. So I'm going to do about a dozen of these little wiggles left and right here. And then I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to move the ball slightly across to the other side and then do exactly the same, massaging left and right. Just feeling that little bit of pressure down into the back of the calf. Again, about a dozen of these. You can spend a lot longer if you've got really tight hamstrings and calves. This is a great way of combining it. Okay, so we were writing what we call the belly of the calf here. Now I'm going to move it down. So if you imagine your calf into thirds, so you've got your belly of your calf, you've got the back of your ankle here, and then you've got this bit in between. And this is where there's a lot of connective tissue. So I'm going to pop my ball right into the middle of my shin. Again, I'm going to come and sit back down again. And then with as much pressure as I feel comfortable to, I'm going to massage side to side. A little ski wiggle with your hips, massaging through. So if you are doing this in sitting or you do it with your legs out in front, make sure you've now moved down either into your calf or vice versa, you've moved up into your hamstring. Both of these are effective ways, but I just quite like doing these together because you kind of get both muscles working. It also can help you open up the mobility around your knees and your hips a bit more as well. Okay, last one there. And when you're ready, you're going to switch sides. So I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to pop the ball here, behind, about an inch behind the back of the knee. And then again, I'm going to massage left and right, going side to side. I'm just looking for that area that maybe is feeling a little bit more reactive. You may notice if you are weaker on one side, generally we find that's the area that tends to be a little bit tighter, more tender, holding on a little bit more. So ironically, it's got more tone to it, but it's not actually very strong. Okay, let's do 2 more little wiggles there. Now remember what I said, you can feel how the ball likes to sit to one side of the shin or the other naturally. Just readjust it so you get onto the other side and then massage by wiggling left and right. Nudging in, just so you can get that calf to release slightly, softening into that muscle. So if you've got your legs outstretched, you should hopefully be finishing off either your hamstrings or your calf and preparing to swap.
Okay, let's move the ball down now into the middle of the calf, so halfway down your shin, into the middle, sitting back gently, making sure you've got that grip there, and then a little wiggle left and right. You are going to feel a little bit more bias into your calf release here. So if you are tending to carry that extra tension into your calf, this can be a great way of bringing them both together. Okay, 2 more little wiggles. Last one there. Oh, it can feel good if you've been doing lots of walking or running. And then when you're ready, let's bring our legs out in front of us. If you haven't already, pop the ball underneath the top of the thigh, so it's in front of the sitting bone. And either sweeping your leg left and right, or lifting up and sweeping side to side. If your wrists and arms are tired, you could go to fists, or like I said, coming here, side to side with your leg. I just prefer the little hip wiggle here. It's up to you. Just go with what works well for your body at the moment. So just massaging in, and you're looking for that very top of the muscle, and you'll feel it where it's almost like you're flicking over. Remember that muscle narrows and attaches onto your pelvis. So we're going over the top part of that muscle to see if we can take any excessive tension or soft tissue tightness and stickiness out of that area. Okay, hold that there. So you can just sit up a little bit more, press that leg away. Go on, push, 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 push. 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, let's pop ourselves on top of the ball now and take those circles. So you might like to come and do this in standing now. Massaging in a nice big, small circle. Let's start small. Little circle just above that sitting bone, and then gradually start to build up the size of that circle. So you're massaging all the way out towards the hip bone, down to the sitting bone, and back through the main bulk of the muscle of the bottom. That's it, all the way through. Now change directions. Circle all the way around again, and then gradually start to work that size all the way down towards your sitting bone. Okay, do you remember what I said before? That we're just going to work between the points that are tightest. If you've just got one area that's really tight, stay on there and do little wiggles. If not, you can massage from one point to the next. And you might notice that each side feels different. You might have to move in a slightly different way or a slightly different angle. Let's work through there, getting that little bit of release, really focusing into that area. Also be aware that as you massage, you might notice that one area then suddenly dissipates and actually you're left with one residual area that is particularly tight. And you might like to just stay on that and work a little bit more deeply into it. Okay, picking that area that feels tight, we're going to hold this here now and we're going to step that leg in and out. So you might like to have the ball just underneath, just above your sitting bone, or you might like to have it further out or up to a point that feels tight for you. So you've got the choice of stepping in and out or sliding in and out, moving at a pace that feels helpful for you. Okay, let's do 2 more here. Well done. Okay, lovely. We're going to pop the ball away. We're done with that for today. And then we're going to come into some mobility for the hips. So if there's any problems you have around your knees and hips, and there's any moves that we're going to do that you're not happy with, feel free to avoid them. So let's come to hands and knees first of all. And when you're ready, let's take a full hip circle, sweeping those hips round and then changing directions. If you find that this is tight or there's a problem, maybe pick instead just a side-to-side sweep. So rather than circles, you go left and right sweep. If not, drawing circles all the way through and then reversing. Hopefully by now that you're feeling your hips and lower back are soft and released and you're able to move quite freely. Okay, so from here now, we're going to take ourselves into a downward dog. So we're going to tuck our toes under, lift our hips up, pressing our hips and up high towards the sky and pressing our hands into the floor. If you don't like this inverted position, feel free to come and do this with your hands on a chair or against the wall. Keep your knees very slightly soft and imagine your tailbone is being scooped up towards the sky, and then slowly walk your feet into the floor, massaging and stretching out the back of the legs and feeling the calves soften and open. Okay, 2 more. Okay, from here, let those knees come back down. And this time, let's stretch ourselves back into our shell stretch. And then just gently come forwards and lift your spine slightly up. This shouldn't cause you a problem for your back or your core, so if it feels too much, just come to hands and knees, and then lift through the heart and gently lift through the tailbone, and then curl back into your shell stretch. Okay. Let's do one more of those. Okay, when you're ready, let's tuck those toes under, back to our downward dog. Gently, gently, just mobilise and walk into those ankles, feeling the calves and the hamstrings open. I'm going to step my left leg forward, let my right knee fold to the floor, and continue that rocking forwards and backwards that we just did with our shell stretch, but with my leg in front, creating a stretch for the back of the hamstring. If this doesn't feel okay, being folded over, come here into an upright position. On your next one, fold back, lift your toes, and if you can, sweep your hips into the centre of the mat so you're not scooping over your right leg. Stay here. 10 more seconds. When you're ready, rock forwards and scoop your hands to the inside of your leg. Let your knee roll in and out. Mobilising that hip, only going as far as you feel happy to. And you don't need to force your leg really far down, just let it nudge in and out. Then letting that knee rest slightly out, let's rock forwards and backwards, creating that little bit of mobility into the back of the hamstrings. Just be aware that if you are quite tight in your hamstrings, or if you've got any irritation coming down from your glutes, that this can be quite sensitive. So move considerately. Now press back and hold that there. Allow this leg just to relax. Let it be passive. Let it just flop slightly to the side. But as you do that, imagine you're reaching your tailbone back and away. 3, 2, 1, when you're ready, let's scoop that leg through, lifting up into your downward dog just for a little momentary reset, and then stepping forward with your opposite leg, lowering that back leg down, and again we're going to rock forwards and backwards, stretching out the back of the legs. Feeling the hips mobilise. Remember, you've got that option to come up into your lunge position if you find it too uncomfortable. On your next one, either hands down or hands on your knee, bring those toes up, hands onto the floor, onto your knees or onto a chair in front of you if you need some support, creating a stretch through the back of the leg. Try and keep your hips in the centre of your mat. And when you're ready, let's bring those hands down into the inside of the leg, and we're going to let that right leg fold in and out, just letting the knee soften down to the side, rolling onto the outside blade of the foot. And now leaving the knee out to the side, let's rock forwards and backwards, feeling that little bit of mobility into the hamstrings and hips. And if this doesn't feel okay for your body, just opt for one of the previous movements we've done. On your next move, let's hold the hips back there now, bowing softly, reach the tailbone away, let the leg just soften slightly so the knee can fold out. 2 more breath cycles here. And when you finish your next breath cycle, rock yourself forwards, release that leg, and allow yourself to come down to your shell stretch. Without any effort at all, slow breath in. Pause, and then heavy sigh out. Again, slow breath in, and pause, and heavy sigh out. Last one, soft breath in, and pause, and heavy sigh out. In your own time, come to a position of relaxation and comfort, maybe with a cushion or a blanket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up
into a period of relaxation. I fully encourage you to stay here for as long as you need. It might be 5 minutes, you might like to even stay here for another 30, 40 minutes or even an hour. Just relaxing and allowing your body to restore and rest. So when you've got your cushions and your blanket and you're set up into a comfortable position, either laying or sitting, I want you just to find where in your body is grounding down into the floor. And as you find those points, just track through the rest of your body and see if there's anywhere else in your body that is striving to keep up. Maybe you feel uncomfortable around your chest or your neck or your shoulders, or maybe your t-shirt is catching on your neck. See if you can adjust your position so your body can fully release and relax into the movements. Now let's turn our attention back to our breath. We're going to do 3 of those slow breaths. Floating up on that in-breath. Pause, and then heavy sigh out. And again, floating up on that in-breath. Pause, and heavy sigh out. One more time, slow breath in. Pause, and heavy sigh out. Now just become aware of the mat, of your support, and how your body can just melt into those, not working against them, just melting down into those positions of rest and support. I want you to slowly move through your body, spending as long as you need to, whether that's 5 minutes or 50 minutes, allowing each part of your body to rest and reset. You may like to use your 3 breath cycle of slow breath in, pause and heavy exhale at each point. Or you may simply like to come to a time of complete peace and relaxation. You can also use your breathing cycle that we've practiced today to refocus your mind and release any worries or concerns that might be distracting you. So if you do notice your mind wandering, just allow yourself to use those 3 steady breaths, slow in, pause and sigh out to refocus your attention. Staying on your mat for as long as you need.